guys, welcome to Boson's Botany. Before starting this video, I want to say sorry for not uploading video on last Sunday due to some personal reason. So here I am today with a new video on monosaccharide structural aspect and most precisely glucose. As we all know, glucose is a monosaccharide. So in this video, I'm starting with glucose structural topics. So let's get started. So structure of glucose. So the very important part which you need to understand is the formation of hemiacetal and hemiketal structure that is formed when the hydroxyl group of a monosaccharide such as glucose reacts with its own aldehyde or keto functional group to form hemiacetal and hemiketal. Thus the aldehyde group of glucose at carbon C1, carbon number C1 or C1 place reacts with the alcohol group at carbon 5 to form two types of cyclic hemiacetals, namely alpha and beta. So the main point that I want to highlight here is the functional group of glucose reacts with the alcoholic group of that same glucose structure. And in glucose we have aldehyde as the functional group, and in fructose we have ketone as the functional group, right? So in case of glucose, the aldehyde functional group, which is at carbon number 1 C1, will react with the alcohol group of carbon C5 to form two types of cyclic hemiacetals, namely alpha and beta hemiacetals. So from this diagram, I'm trying to show you how it is actually happening. For example, if I take aldehyde as my functional group and there's an alcoholic group OH, alcohol, and aldehyde CHO, these two will react to give hemiacetal. Okay, this is the hemiacetal structure. This is how glucose will react with carbon number 5 alcoholic group to form hemiacetal, cyclic hemiacetal, namely alpha and beta. And if we consider fructose, which I have not discussed in this video, but if we consider fructose, then carbon number 2 will react with carbon number 5, because I have already discussed that the keto functional group is always present at carbon number 2. So this you need to keep in mind. I have not discussed in this video about fructose, but in case of fructose, carbon number 2 will react with carbon number 5. So as it is visible here, this is the okay, let me discuss this point first. The configuration of glucose is represented either by Fischer formula or by Hayward projection formula. So these are two structural formula that we generally use to represent the configuration of glucose when it forms its hemiacetal structure. So here we come. This is the, as you can see, this is the structure of glucose. Okay, this is glucose, and we have carbon number 1 here, carbon number 1, which is the aldehyde CHO. It is having CHO group, aldehyde group. Now this carbon number 1 aldehydic group will react with carbon number 5 of this glucose structure. This is carbon number 5, and here we had, for example, if I try to draw this, OH. This is carbon number 1. Okay, and these are rest of the carbon atoms: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this carbon, this fifth carbon, this initially had H here and OH here. Now when this carbon number 1 aldehyde group reacts with carbon number 5, then this this oxygen will be included in this cyclic ring structure, like this cyclic ring structure, by the elimination of water. So this oxygen is actually of this OH group that has reacted with carbon number 1 of glucose aldehyde functional group. Okay, now this alpha and beta, this will be more clear in my next slide, but for the time being, just try to understand that in case of alpha D-glucose, the OH group on the carbon number 1 is on the right hand side, and in case of beta D-glucose, the OH group is towards the left hand side on carbon number 1, but the reaction will be the same. The reaction will be the same, only the position of OH group on carbon number 1 differs in alpha and beta D-glucose. Now, pyranose and furanose structures. The Haworth projection formula are depicted by a 6-membered ring pyranose based on pyran, or a 5-membered ring furanose based on furan. The cyclic form of glucose are known as D-glucopyranose and alpha D-glucofuranose. So if the ring is having 6 carbon atoms, then it is pyranose, and if it is having 5 carbon atoms, then it is furanose. Now let's get back to that diagram again. Okay, so just have a look here. This is the Fischer projection, and this is the cyclic structure of this Fischer projection. So this is our pyranose. This is our pyranose because it is having 6 carbon atoms: 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 6 carbon atoms are present, forming a 6-membered ring structure, which is alpha D-glucopyranose, because we are getting this from alpha D-glucose. Similarly, in beta D-glucose, if the ring structure is obtained, then we will get beta D-glucopyranose. Only the difference is the presence of OH on carbon number 1, that I will discuss in my next slide. Okay, just understand the concept of alpha D-glucopyranose and beta D-glucopyranose, and this is the normal structure of glucose, which is just giving you an idea how this cyclization takes place to give rise to this cyclic form of glucose. Now this is the pyran, as you can see, and this is the furan. Pyran, it is having 6 carbon atoms. It is a 6-membered ring structure, and this is a 5-membered ring structure, furanose or furan, which is giving us alpha D-glucofuranose. Here the numbering will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So this is furan and this is pyran. A pyran is more stable, structurally it is more stable as compared to furan. So I hope this is clear. Now, anomers, mutarotation. The alpha and beta cyclic forms of D-glucose are known as anomers. They differ from each other in the configuration only around carbon 1, known as anomeric carbon. This is something you need to highlight. This is very important point. Anomeric carbon is nothing but carbon number 1 in case of alpha and beta cyclic forms of D-glucose, mainly the hemiacetal carbon. In alpha anomer, the OH group is held by anomeric carbon is on the opposite side of the group CH2OH of sugar ring, and the reverse is true for beta anomer. The anomers differ in certain physical and chemical properties. So why carbon 1 is known as hemiacetal carbon? Because carbon 1 and carbon 5 of glucose structure, they have reacted to give rise to the hemiacetal structure, which I have already told you. So that is why carbon 1 is also known as hemiacetal carbon, or it is also known as anomeric carbon. Why? Because it is giving rise to anomeric forms of glucose, namely alpha and beta. Now, what I have just told you, that in case of alpha anomer, the OH group is towards the opposite side of CH2OH of sugar ring. Now let's again come back to this diagram. So just have a look here. This is carbon number 1. Okay, this is carbon number 1. This is carbon number 1. And this is our anomeric carbon. This is our anomeric carbon, or carbon number 1, or also hemiacetal carbon. Now this is our alpha D glucopyranose. Now how you will decide whether this structure is alpha or beta anomer? By looking at carbon number 1 OH group orientation. Here as you can see, the OH group, which is on the carbon number 1, it is present opposite to this CH2OH. This CH2OH is towards the upward side, and this OH on carbon number 1 is towards the downward side. Okay, these two are opposite in terms of orientation. Opposite orientation. So if OH is towards the downward side, or just keep one thing in mind and reverse it for beta. So if OH is down on carbon number 1, then you will get alpha anomer. As simple as that. And in case of beta, this OH and this CH2OH, they are on the same orientation. Okay, same, they are both are facing upward, so same orientation. Or you can also write upward OH on carbon 1 will give you beta anomer. So this is something you should keep in mind to understand subsequent topics regarding glucose, because many a times we tend to forget what is alpha, what is beta anomer. Even we confuse ourselves with the term anomeric carbon, hemiacetal carbon, carbon number 1. These are all same, they are not different, these are all same, but you need to understand. So let me write this here. If OH on carbon number 1 is on the downward side, then we will get alpha anomer. And if this OH on carbon number 1 is upward, then we will get beta anomer. Now, can you just understand which is more stable just by looking at the structure? Which is more stable? Is it alpha anomeric glucose or beta? Just by looking at these two structures, can you just answer yourself? Okay, if you look at these two structures, then beta D-glucopyranose is more stable as compared to alpha D-glucopyranose. Why? Because carbon number 1 and carbon number 2, they have OH group facing same side. They both are facing towards the downward side, right? So there will be repulsion. There will be steric hindrance. They both will repel each other because OH group is a bulky functional group. They both will repel each other. That is why you will get a distorted structure. But in case of beta, this OH group on carbon number 1 is facing upward and this OH on carbon number 2 is facing downwards. So there is no steric hindrance or no repulsion. So alpha form is lesser stable as compared to beta form. This is stability. This is stability in terms of structure. Which structure is more stable? Beta form. So we will get more percentage of beta anomeric glucose structure as compared to alpha anomeric glucose structure due to the structural stability. And why? Because there is steric hindrance in case of alpha D-glucopyranose between carbon number 1 and carbon number 2 OH group, and there is no steric hindrance in between carbon number 1 and carbon number 2 OH group. So I hope this is clear. So do not forget to subscribe my channel. If you like this video, hit the like button and try to share it with your friends. Do comment down so that I can understand how much benefited you are, how much understanding I am able to give you through my videos. So your comments, your your like appreciation is something that will motivate me further to make more videos. So okay, happy learning and stay tuned with Boson's Botany. Thank you.